Rosh Hashanah, I was told it wasn't loud enough. And then last night I was told it was too loud. It's too loud? It's still too loud? All right, what about the people all the way in the back? I'll call them the black Machzor seats. Can you hear me? All right. It sounds okay? Just right? All right, sit back. I want you to enjoy it because you got a good hour of this now. I'm just kidding. It's no more than a half hour. Gemar Chatzima Tova. I suppose you're wondering why I gathered you all here today. This new year is only slightly more than a week old. I hope and pray that it's a good one. Maybe even a great one. And certainly better than last year. But I don't know. I can't guarantee or promise anything. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, can. Yom Kippur is about standing on the precipice and looking out at a new horizon. Oh, he's back. A year of potential and growth. Yet it's also about trepidation and precariousness. Do you get to take the leap of faith, or do you fall? Will you get to fulfill all that you want for a new year by being judged favorably, or might something more ominous happen? We know there is a little good and a little bad in every year. Maybe a day can be perfect, but not 365 in a row. Whenever I'm faced with a new and uncertain situation, I always like to hear words of advice. It does not necessarily need to be words you might readily agree with. It could be something that challenges, that might not seem obvious at first to the listener. Nevertheless, it is a maxim to ponder, something to help put my life or my immediate thoughts in perspective. I think most people here know that I loved my father very much, and I still miss him. When he was dying, and the thought of my life without him in it seemed insurmountable, I asked him for a piece of advice before he faded away to the point I couldn't even have a lucid conversation with him. Without missing a beat or pausing to contemplate what he might have told me, he simply replied, "Never rush to make a decision." Point of fact, he had responded so quickly, I even had to say, "Dad, don't rush to answer. You can think about it if you want." But he was insistent. That is what he wanted to leave me with. And he was a psychoanalyst himself, so perhaps really ruminating over things was always paramount to him. Listening, processing, examining, not responding too quickly with answers or solutions. After all, isn't that what therapy is all about? Paying for your time, lots of time, lots of money. And here's the question I would put forth to all of you today. What is one piece of advice you would give a loved one? One lasting piece of learning, a benefit to leave them with if you had to. We all hope and we all pray, of course, on this day to be not just written, but inscribed, sealed in that great big book of life before the sun sets. And I hope that for each one of us here, but what might be a mantra you would hopefully take with you into 5786? Almost something that could be a theme for you in this new year. A goal to set your sights on and maybe even inspire and advise others if you were to share it with them. We will have recited about 100,000 words before the sun sets on this day. Think about it. 100,000 words. I mean, I never thought about it before, but apparently that is 6 to 7 times the number of words an average person speaks in a typical day. Or maybe it's just 5 times the usual number if you're Jewish. Why do more Jews the world over and throughout history attend services on Yom Kippur as opposed to doing anything else? Think about it. Is it just out of a sense of guilt or tradition? Perhaps. Is it that we truly buy into the concept that we stand before the unseen, the one true judge, the Holy One, and want to ensure we are written and inscribed in this book of life? Maybe. Is it the familiarity of the ritual, the comfort of the words, the tunes, the melodies chanted in Hebrew and some Aramaic, even those liturgical pieces we can't quite understand? As we read in the Torah, as we read earlier, and again we will read at Musaf, the atonement on Yom Kippur stretches back over 3,000 years ago. I honestly don't know any other continuous religious or cultural observance that can be traced back that long and that far. 10 times during this day, we recite the Vidui, the confessional service, a series of prayers normally reserved for the deathbed as it is a type of last rites. It is a sobering thought, but in a way, I find it kind of comforting. And especially that we are all here together for this most holy, longest of days. When we strike our chests in contrition, we state, we have sinned, we have wronged, we have transgressed. We are all in this together. And personally and professionally, I'm spiritually inspired by being with all of you. And I take great comfort in being with you all here on this most holy of days. And I truly hope the feeling is mutual. With all the words and the phrases and the blessings that we chant today, it's easy to get lost. But Yom Kippur, more than any other holy day in the Jewish calendar, is about finding yourself. The Day of Atonement. Et one meant. I know why I am here, but ask yourself, why are you here today of all days? What moves you, stirs your soul? Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav was purported to have said, it's easier to give advice to others than to oneself. Life cannot always be so easily summed up in an adage, but it could help ground and guide us. We could always use advice from friends and family we trust and who mean something to us. Maybe we could help them with our own words. A colleague of mine told me this past summer her rabbi advised, never go out of the house, never go anywhere without a little Torah in your back pocket. Something to share and teach. That's good advice for any rabbi. Also, having words of meaning at the ready that inspire you is never a bad thing for anyone. Our interactions don't always need to happen online or be tied to a screen or AI. And at the very least, it just makes you more well-read and contemplative. Something we should all strive for in this new year or any other. As Abraham Lincoln stated, I shall study and prepare myself so that when my chance comes, I shall be ready. In about an hour, we will observe the Yizkor service, the remembrance service for loved ones whom we have lost. They say a person can die twice. Once when they physically leave this earth, and then the second time, spiritually, when no one is left who remembers them. That is why, for all our loved ones, we have to pass down stories, pictures, memories, and sayings that they shared. And while we can, remember that communication is key. Never wait too long to tell a person whom you love that you loved them, why you love them, and what they mean to you. When you find something laudable, make it audible. Let me say that again. When you find something laudable, make it audible. I think back at what my dad told me before he passed from this earth. And while his advice isn't something I feel I can apply to all times and all situations, I do think there was something helpful and certainly practical in what he chose to impart to me. Simply put, don't rush, because any important choice in life is worth considering and not dealing with in a hasty, rushed way. We don't have to fall into analysis paralysis, but neither should we feel pressured to come up with an answer if it is not an emergency situation. It's not like every decision in life requires filling in the right bubble with a number 2 pencil during a timed exam. There's thankfully more nuance than that in our everyday experiences and interactions. As I was thinking back on that last bit of advice my father gave me, I realized the juxtaposition of it all. He was telling me not to rush with important things, and yet he had almost no time left to spend. His mind and his body were slowly shutting down like a computer before it's powered off. It's a type of dilemma because we never want to waste time. These days of art reinforce that concept. Yet this Yom Aruchta, this marathon day, is about slowing time down. Life and our conduct in it is meant to be meaningful. In a way, we as Jews, we're fortunate to have the opportunity like Yom Kippur once a year to remind us of this fact. And even more so, by the way, the gift of Shabbat, which happens every week, as it attunes us to the holiness of time. Libriut. The late, great John Lennon wrote a song for his son Sean that was released shortly before his death titled Beautiful Boy, with a line in it that goes, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans." That has always resonated with me, maybe because I find it just simply rings so true. But there can be beauty in those mundane moments, the unscripted aspects of our life and the surprises we could have never planned for. We are enlivened and inspired by the good, and we have to remember to simply learn and grow from the bad. What is one aphorism you would want to take with you into this new year of 5786? What is a piece of advice you find so appealing you would want to share it with others? Consider it as a guiding lesson for the liminal moment, the transition we find ourselves in. Most years, ironically, especially as you get older, go quicker than you think. That's why life seems to move so fast. Now, I was incredibly and obviously sad when my dad was dying, but also scared. I was at a bit of a crossroads in my life and career, and my dad had always been there to advise and support me. In truth, he was kind of like my rabbi. I told him that I was not only going to miss him, but that I didn't know how I could quite as easily continue to transition through life and career without him being there. And he simply responded to me, "You'll be fine." And you know what? I believed him. And to this day, I still do. As I recall, that was the last thing he ever voiced to me. He had a faith and a confidence in me, which I know was sincere and not just heartfelt, but honest. It's as if on his deathbed he could see into my future a bit. At that moment, it is exactly what I wanted to hear, what I needed to hear then, and it's what we all want to hear and need to hear sometimes. And it's true. We will be fine because we are Jews. We survive and we thrive. On the threshold of a new Jewish year, we will persevere, however severe. Look at what we've been through, and we are still here. We should never be undone by our fear. We will be okay this new year. We will come out on the other side, I believe, quite honestly, as I stand before this ark on this Day of Atonement, stronger together. I wasn't alone when I lost my father. I had my family, of course, and I also thankfully had my larger extended family, this community here. And this community here always has me. We must remember that we're never alone. No Jew is an island. So I say to us, Israel, and Jews the world over, to 5786 and beyond, Gemar Chatima Tova. Thank you all. I'd like to request that you clear the center aisle. The cantor Lariut is going to begin praying